Have you ever procrastinated the same task for days, maybe even weeks, maybe even months, to the point that you felt so stressed about it, that you felt so guilty about it, that you actually wanted to quit and even stop trying? Then you have to watch this video till the end, because I'm gonna share 3 simple tips that you can apply today that will once and for all help you overcome this destructive habit so you can start going after your goals and dreams instead of constantly feeling stressed that you're not doing enough to make it. Look, I procrastinated just as much, if not more than you. I know exactly what you're going through. And without these 3 tips, especially the last one that I'm gonna share, there is no way I would have been able to achieve all the success that I've been able to achieve and help all the people that I've been able to help. That's why I'm so passionate about this topic, because I know how much of a difference it can make if you truly apply this and bring it into your life. I bet procrastination has already had a huge toll on your life, not just in terms of achieving your goals, but also your health. Study after study has shown that the stress we feel by putting things off and by procrastinating literally affects our immune system to the point that we get sick easier, even potentially get illnesses and diseases that we would have never got otherwise. Not only that, but it destroys your self-confidence. When you have thing after thing that you've put off, you're less likely to take on new opportunities. You're less likely to take on new challenges, because in the back of your mind, you think, if I wasn't even able to get these things done, what makes me think I can take on more things? I remember when I was in elementary, middle school, high school, I was the best at leaving things off till the last minute. I wouldn't touch my homework till Sunday night. If I had a project that had a 3-week due date, I would wait till the last day of the due date and start working on it. And you know what this did more than anything else? On a daily basis leading up to that due date, I would constantly be thinking, oh, I really gotta get that done. I really gotta get that done. So instead of being able to enjoy the moment that I was having, I was constantly stressed about this task that had to come up. That's why I'm so passionate about this topic, because it really, really brought down the quality of my life to a point where I was getting sick and tired of being sick and tired. And that's when I made a decision to change forever. And when I did, that affected all my other goals going forward. And thank God, it was what helped me get to where I am today. So I'm so excited to share this with you. Let's get right into it. First, let's talk about why we even procrastinate. It's not because you're lazy. It's not because you lack consistency. It's not because you're not disciplined. It's because you're human. Let me explain. As human beings, we are designed not to thrive, not to become billionaires, not to become successful, but we are designed to survive. So whenever we have a task that we feel will take a lot of energy from us, will force us to get out of our comfort zone, will force us to maybe face some fears, we are more likely to avoid it than actually get it done. See, we usually avoid tasks or procrastinate on tasks that we deem intimidating, either because it's something that's out of our comfort zone, either it's something that's so difficult in our mind that we think we might not be able to handle it, or because it's something that we're afraid of dealing with or we're afraid of coming across. Let me explain to you what I mean by this. All of the decisions that we make get filtered through our pain-pleasure perception. Meaning, if we deem a task as painful, either because it's out of our comfort zone, either because it's something that maybe brings fear into us, maybe it's because it's something that maybe even bores us, we are more likely to avoid it because we want to avoid pain and we want to avoid things that could risk our survival. Based on our perception, I know doing your taxes isn't going to be the difference between you surviving or not. But from your perception, doing taxes is boring. Doing taxes might be something that's out of your comfort zone. So you much rather avoid that immediate discomfort, that immediate boredom, than to deal with it and get it done with. Look, I remember when I first started in business, I hated rejection. The first 6 months of me getting into business, I was having such a hard time getting results because of this. And there was a book that I kept reading that was written by a guy who was extremely successful in that same business. And I had already read this book twice. But this third time that I was reading it, I was finally sick and tired of being sick and tired. I was exhausted of not getting results. I was so discouraged by the lack of progress I was making. And I remember I'm reading this book at 7 a.m. in the boardroom of the office that I was working out of. I said, God, tell me what to do, and I promise I'll do it. No excuses, no BS. I'll finally do it and make it happen. And I kid you not, I flipped the page and I see this thing on the top right-hand corner of this book that says, talk to 3 different people every day. And by doing that, you'll build such momentum that your business will blow up. And as soon as I saw that, I got the worst panic attack you could imagine. Because I'm sitting there and I'm like, where am I going to find 3 people to talk to? Now, maybe to some of you, that doesn't sound like a lot of people. But back then, I was having a hard time talking to one person. I didn't even have any prospects to go and talk to. So I'm looking at it and I'm like, how the heck am I gonna find 3 people every day? And I start doing math. I'm like, 3 people a day times 30, that's 90 a month. I'm like, I don't even know 2 people. How am I gonna find 90 just for this month? And I was overcome by this fear. And I'm like, what am I gonna say to them? What if they reject me? What if I get embarrassed? And my brain is going haywire with all these fears and anxieties. And then all of a sudden, I stop and I go, well, what if I don't do this? If I don't do these invites, what's the consequence of that? Well, I'm gonna fail out with this business. I probably have to go back to university. All the people that told me you should go to university, you shouldn't do this business, you'll never make it, I'll have to admit that they're right. And they get to hold that over me for the rest of my life. I have to probably work a stupid job that I hate for the rest of my life. Probably when I'm 35 or 40, I look back on this exact moment and say, what if I had just done those invites, just prospected those people, talked to those people? Would I be at the same crappy situation I'm in now? And in that moment, the pain of the future regrets that I would feel for not doing that became significantly higher than the pain of getting after it, finding those people, talking to them. So in that moment, I closed my book and I got after it. And every single day after that day, I talked to 3 people and I never missed a day. And that was the reason I had my first burst of success that gave me the confidence to do everything else. What is that story supposed to show you? It's supposed to show you that our pain and pleasure perception, what we perceive, is in our control. See, in that moment when I'm sitting there, I perceived the pain associated with getting rejected, with going and finding people so high that it gave me a panic attack. But instead of giving into that fear, giving into that pain perception that I had and quitting, what did I do instead? I said, what would the consequence of me not doing this be? And the pain of that was significantly higher than the pain of that rejection, and that's why I did it. By the way, this is no different than why we actually finish our homework on Sunday night. Because the pain of getting that homework done is nowhere near as the pain of having to go to class on Monday morning and your teacher giving you shit in front of all your classmates and embarrassing you. So you get it done on Sunday night because you don't want to deal with the pain that's coming in Monday morning. This pain pleasure perception is in our control, especially now that you're aware of it. Maybe before you were never aware of this, and all the things that you perceived painful or all the things you perceived as pleasurable was something that was automatic based on the environment you grew up in, based on the people you associated with, based on the programming that you were exposed to. But now that you're aware that you could change this, you can take control. So here's how you can use this tool in your own life. Next time you come across a task, maybe it's studying, maybe it's going to the gym, maybe it's prospecting for your business and potentially getting rejected, and you feel the fear of that task, you feel the pain associated with that task, stop yourself and go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then say, what is the consequence of me either doing this task, the pleasure that could come from it, or what is the consequences of me not doing this task? And you know why you gotta go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1? Because you gotta stop the rushing thoughts, the programming, the habitual anxiety. You gotta stop it. And you can stop that pattern with that countdown. And once the pattern has stopped, now you have control of what is the new thought you want to have. And the new thought can be, well, if I do get this task done, if I do study, then I'll get better grades, I'll get a better job, and people will be more proud of me. If I go to the gym, then the positive consequence of that is I feel better by myself, I feel more energized, and I get one step closer to the body that I want to have. So that's the pleasure side. What is the pain side? Well, if I don't study and I get bad grades, I'll be embarrassed. If I don't go to the gym and I have to go to the beach and I got to take my shirt off and people make fun of me, that'll embarrass me. And that's worse than doing that. And by doing that, that'll give you that initial motivation you need to get up and get after what you need to get done. And you can defeat procrastination right there and then. Here's the second tip. Start. Look, the hardest thing to do is to start. I have a video called This Is Why You Don't Stay Consistent. And the major point of that video is we all face resistance. I don't care if it's Arnold Schwarzenegger or if it's Dwayne The Rock Johnson or whoever else you think is extremely successful and disciplined. All people feel that initial resistance when they're about to do a task that they perceive as painful, that they perceive as too difficult. We all feel that same resistance. Here's the difference though. Some people give into that resistance and don't do it. Other people break through that point of resistance and just get started. If you're studying, the first 5 minutes, 10 minutes of studying sucks. But after that initial 10 minutes of starting that study pattern, you get into some momentum and you actually maybe start enjoying the study. The first 10 minutes of your workout sucks. But after 10 minutes, you get a rush of dopamine, you get energized, and the rest of your workout goes great. You know what I'm talking about because we've all been there. We've all done that task that we didn't want to do. And as soon as we got into it, 5 minutes in, 10 minutes in, what was your thought? This isn't as bad as I thought. This isn't as hard as I thought. This is a lot easier to get done than I thought. So we all know the starting part is the hardest part. So just start and use what I just talked about right before this second tip, the pain pleasure perception. When that resistance comes in, when you feel like, I really don't want to do my taxes. I really don't want to study that thing. I really don't want to go follow up with that person who's not replied to my messages over and over again. I really don't. When you're feeling that resistance, here's what I want you to do. Tap into that pain pleasure perception and break through that resistance and just start. Start typing that message to the client. Start that study. Go to the gym, pick up your bags and just walk to the gym and go on the treadmill for a few minutes. And I promise you, as you get started, it becomes very easy to finish it. But the hardest part and the thing that most people have a difficulty with that keeps them from getting things done is they don't start the task. Start and everything else after that is going to be easy and you're going to get it done. When you get it done, you know what you're going to think? Thank God I got that thing done. It's going to be off your shoulders and you're going to feel so good about yourself. You're going to have so much confidence in yourself that every other task that comes after it becomes 10 times easier. Brian Tracy literally has a book called Eat That Frog. And the whole point of it is do the hard tasks in your day, in the first part of your day, because then all the other tasks that you have to do for the rest of the day are going to be so much easier because you're going to have momentum and you're going to have a lot of dopamine and confidence for doing those difficult tasks first. I hate ice baths. No, listen, I hate ice baths. That's exactly why I do ice baths first thing in the morning. When I'm looking at that ice water and I'm feeling that dread of getting into it and I'm feeling, oh my God, it's gonna be so cold and I hate the cold. I'm from Iran. I'm not even designed for the cold. You know what I tell myself? This is the task that if I get this done, every other task in my day is gonna be easy. When I get in that ice bath, I do 5 minutes usually. The first 30 seconds sucks. The first minute sucks. But you know what happens after a minute 30, after 2 minutes? My body goes numb. I actually stop feeling the cold and I just sit there for the rest of the 5 minutes. And when I get out, I feel so good about myself. I have so much confidence in myself that every other task that I have to do is a piece of cake because that ice bath is the thing that I hate the most in my life. And I get it done the first thing, everything else becomes piece of cake. So get those tasks done first and see how much momentum you build in your day and in your life. Here's the last tip to get rid of this terrible habit once and for all. Take your tasks and break it down into small steps. I mentioned it earlier in the video. One of the major reasons why we procrastinate is because we're intimidated by the task that we need to get done. Because in our mind, we perceive it as painful or we perceive it as very difficult. Well, if you take the task and break it down into small steps, let's say, for example, you have a big project that you need to do for your school. If you wait until the last day, you're gonna freak the hell out because there's so much to do. But if you go this week, I'm gonna do this part of the project. Next week, I'm gonna do this part of the project. And in the third week, I'll do this part of the project. Now, it doesn't look so intimidating because you broke it down into smaller steps. And here's what happens that's the best part. Every time you finish one of the steps, you have more confidence to finish the next one. I'll share something with you guys that is very relatable for me. I don't actually like preparing content. I love delivering content. I love coming on this camera and sharing it with you, but the process of researching and preparing isn't the most fun thing for me. But you know what I do instead? I get started immediately, like I mentioned before, but I also break it down into smaller steps. So I go, okay, I need this video prepared for Wednesday when I'm gonna film, just as an example. I go on Friday, I'm gonna come up with the title and intro. On Saturday, I'm gonna work on the first 2 tips. Let's say it's a 3-tip video like this one. And on the last day, which is gonna be the Sunday, I'll finish the 3rd tip and I'll review it and make sure it's all good. Now on Friday, all I have to do is basically 20, 30 minutes of work of coming up with the title, coming up with the intro. Once I finish that, guess what I feel? I'm like, perfect. I got the project started. I'm gonna finish it off by Sunday. It's gonna be easy. Because the hardest part, to be honest with you, when it comes to making videos is coming up with the title that you guys wanna click. Thank you for clicking. And coming up with an intro that makes you wanna actually stick around for the whole thing so you can get the value from it that I want you to get. So when I get that first part done on the Friday, Saturday and Sunday, I'm not worried about it anymore because the rest of it is easy for me. So that's what I mean by breaking down that bigger task into smaller steps. And when you do, it's much easier. Let's say you're studying for a license, because in my business, we got to get a license and some people have a problem with it. Take it module by module. You go, hey, I'm going to complete the first module this week. All your energy and stuff goes into that module. Once you finish it, the second module is easier. Once you finish that, and so on. So this is the final tip that will truly, truly make this procrastination thing go away forever. And you can start getting things done, and you can be the type of person that gets things done, not the type of person that puts things off. Now that we're done with procrastination, let's talk about consistency. I got another video called "This is Why You Don't Stay Consistent." I'm gonna put it right up here at the end of the video. I highly recommend you all watch that as well, because that'll really put this whole conversation in one piece. And from then on, not only will you not procrastinate, but you'll stay consistent long enough to achieve the results you deserve. But before you go, hit that subscribe button and the bell so you get notified every time you have a new video. Hit that like button and share this video with anyone in your life who you feel like could benefit and get value from this. Thank you. Have a good one. Bye-bye.